Hey everybody, and welcome back to my next video in my series of dialing in videos for our Line 6 Helix. This week I'm going to take a look at one of my favorite amp models that I've used quite a bit for various things. Some of my new album, some of the guitar solo cover videos I do. It's the German Mahadeva, which is modeled after the Bogner Shiva. Now, it's an amp, not an amp I've ever used in real life, but I remember it was one of the first amp models I tried when I first got the Helix. Simply because when I had my old analog rig, I really enjoyed my Bogner red and blue overdrive pedals. And I know those are the channels from the Ecstasy amps. But it just intrigued me because every Bogner I've ever tried, anything by Bogner, I was always really into and I really liked. So I went right to this model and I really like this. So what I'm going to do today is we're going to dive in and see if we can create, like I did last time with the Trainwreck, the Derailed Ingrid model. We're going to try to create 4 snapshots, just ranging from clean to kind of a pushed, broken up sound to an overdrive to a distortion that can be used for live, for recording, and just kind of a good starting point for a lot of folks that maybe want to utilize this in their bands or in their recording studio, etc. So let's dive right in. Let's go over to HX Edit. What I've done here is I've created a preset called Shiva, and it's just based around my normal template that I use. I've got my split crossover. I've got a delay that's turned off. I've got a reverb on. I haven't really checked what's going on there. That's a Ganymede. An EQ that just has a standard high cut at 12 kilohertz. Low cut at 100 hertz, nothing else on the EQ. And I have my normal little studio comp that I do at the end kind of as a mastering section. Nothing else has been altered yet. And what we'll do is we're just going to go in here and we'll pull up, let's see here, an amp and a cab and find the German Mahadeva where that's hiding right there. Okay, so that's the 112 lead 80 cab on it. And like I always like to do, we'll just change that to the amp. And we'll come over here to the cab, whoops, not the preamp, the cab, and we'll find that 112 lead 80 right there. Okay, so this comes up just stock as the German Mahadeva with these settings. We'll hear what that sounds like in a second. And it comes up with the 409 dynamic pulled 4 inches off. Okay, let's just hear what that sounds like, just coming up with just a little bit of compression at the end, the high and low cut, and a little bit of reverb. Okay, a little bit muddy sounding, even though it's got a dynamic mic on it. I'm not crazy about the 409 dynamic. I'm going to come up and move this right away to a 160 ribbon. What's that going to sound like with 4 inches off here? Okay. What I find normally, and this is the same in the real world, right? Anytime I've worked in the studio, I've done a bunch of work in the studio over the last couple decades using real mics, real cabinets, real tube amps. And oftentimes, no matter where you place the mic, there's obviously going to be optimal places to place a microphone. But there's always going to be some sort of tweaking I find after the fact, going into the board or at the board, maybe in post-processing of some sort. So I find that this is indicative of what you would get out of a ribbon mic. Something that leans towards the darker side of things. So we'll deal with that in a different way, but I'm pretty happy with that as a starting point. But first of all, I want to do a clean sound here, okay? So obviously this is breaking up way too much. So let's see what happens when we pull back the drive on the Mahadeva. Let's go down to 1. We're going to lose some volume, obviously, I'm thinking. So we'll crank our channel volume up here. Now I can still hear a little bit of breakup on that. Now let's see if we even go down further. Okay, so now we're losing some output and our channel volume's maxed to 10. Let's clean this up even more because I'm gonna handle this a different way for this snapshot. Let's try to get a really clean tone out of this amp. I don't know if it's really designed to go after the ultra cleans, but let's see what we can do. Let's bring our master back to 3.5 and our drive to 0.5. Now, very clean, but extremely quiet. So for this snapshot, what I'm going to do is come into the end block, our output block, and I'm going to Alt-click that so that we can get our level back at the end, okay? So I'm going to crank this way up. Go to the neck pickup. That's not breaking up anymore, so we've got a good solution to this. We can get a clean tone out of this. Now that's a little dull for my liking for a clean tone, so let's start off by using the tone stack. We already got a fair bit of treble in there. Let's add some presence to that. Getting there, but I'm going to leave the tone stack alone. And let's go to our split crossover here. I have set it 600 hertz. Let's go a touch higher on that, maybe to 800. And I'm going to go to all the frequencies above 800. I'm going to crank those up maybe 4 dB. That's on the neck pickup, bridge pickup. I'm pretty happy with that. That could use a little more tweaking maybe, but I'm going to leave that alone for now. We'll save that. And I'm happy with that as a clean sound. Now, on the reverb here, I have the Ganymede. Pre-delay it. Let's do this. Let's crank that up just a little bit. I don't know if I want to keep this reverb or... It might be a little bit bigger than what I want. Let's go to a normal old room. Bring that mix back a little bit. I'm okay with that. We'll try that for now. We'll leave it alone. We can always mess with that later. That's going to be a real personal preference thing, right? If anybody wants to use this preset once it's done, you can go in and change that to a suitable reverb for your purposes, right? I'm okay with that, I'm thinking. What happens if we just touch this a little more with the compression at the end? Yeah, okay, let's go with that. Okay, so there's my clean. So now I want to take that and I want to push this a little more so we get a little more breakup. Now, what we're going to have to do here is obviously bring our drive up, but how much? Well, that's the question, right? So let's see what happens here. On our output block. So what you can see is now on this snapshot, it's plus 12 on the output. On the second snapshot, we lost all our output. So let's start off, same thing at plus 12 for this snap. And we'll just sort of start rolling in the drive a little bit at a time. Hey, we got some delay. Let me turn that off. Obviously, between the two snapshots now, I made the big mistake of not turning this into a snapshot. So we were at 0.5 on the clean. Sorry about that. Let me just alt-click that. And now when we go to the push, there we go. Now I can move that up. Okay, so what I'm going to do, let's just use this as a snap. I'm going to roll this back to maybe 8. And we'll see now going between Amazing how much volume it added by just adding one increment, up from 0.5 to 1.5 on our drive. It's really added a lot of volume. So I'm going to come back here and just roll this. I don't know. I'm just guessing right now, 5.5, let's say. Let's go back to our clean. Now, I'm almost finding that that is a little too much gain. Let's back that to 1. And let's come in to our master, not make the same mistake with our snapshot. And let's bring that up to, let's say, 5 for this. See what that does. Starting to break up a bit. Let's just go into our drive. Very touchy drive on this. Bring this back a little tiny bit more on our output. See what we got between those now. Neck pickup. So again, some people might want a little more breakup on that. I'm going to leave it there. Seems to be decent balance between the two. Push might be just a hair louder still. Again, we can balance this more later. Good, I'm liking that. Okay, let's go now, save that, and we'll go to our overdrive snapshot, and let's see what we can do here now. We're gonna want a little more punch and a little more gain out of this. So on the clean, we had 0.5 on the gain. We bumped that up to 1.3 and the master up to 5. So for overdrive here, I'm gonna bring the master back up to 5 and maybe even add in up to 6. And we'll come back to our bridge pickup. Let's roll this right up. This is pretty touchy here. I'm going to go to 3 here and see what we got. Rid of my delay again on that one. Let's go a little more. Let's really kind of crank that up. That's nice. Okay, let's try something here. I'm gonna go into my cab. I am going to create the mic into being controlled by the snapshot, and I'm gonna go to a 121 ribbon just on this snapshot. So see here, what we'll see is on the clean and the push, we have a 160 ribbon. On the overdrive, we have a 121 ribbon. It should darken it up just a little bit, okay? But I'm going to compensate on that by coming in and turning our top part of our split crossover also into being controlled by snapshots. And I'm going to roll some more highs into this, all the way up maybe, I don't know, I'm guessing here, 6.5, 6.4. Okay, let's save that and see what happens now between our clean. Use my foot here to do this. Back to push. So how much overdrive we actually want, again, will be up to personal preference. I might just even, what the heck, let's crank it up a bit more. This is neck pickup. It's quite nice. Okay, that's not too bad. I'm gonna save that. Let's just see what our levels are like between the three. Clean. Yeah, the OD, I might want that to possibly. So that's already back down to 0. Let's bump it up by 1. The Seymour Duncan JB Jr. that I have in this guitar, I don't find is a super high output pickup. So, grabbing something with a higher output pickup in it is obviously going to add some more bite to all of this. We might have to, or some more gain. We might have to make adjustments for that. But I'm okay with this right now. I think those levels are close. Okay, so let's go to our final snapshot here, a distortion snapshot. And we're going to go all out here. Where did we end up? Sorry, here, let's just see where we were on the OD. 6 on the master, 5.5 on the gain. So let's go a little crazy here. Let's go 8. Gonna have to bring, actually, let's just check where did we go with, I see, I didn't touch my channel volume on the OD. I compensated. Yeah, I haven't been using that at all. Okay, so I've been using the output block. Let's just keep it simple. We'll keep the channel volume out of it. Obviously have to roll this back quite a bit. Turn that delay off again for now. Let's just see what happens when we crank this all up to 10. What the heck? Let's see what this has. Okay, pretty dark. I mean, it's kind of nice. There's a lot of distortion, but it's not so bad. So what's happened here between the OD where I bumped the top split crosser up to 6.4. I'm going to do the same thing on this one just to open it up and maybe even go a hair more. Okay, that's good on the high end, but let's go back to the amp. I'm going to go to the bass on this. And just for this snapshot, maybe fatten it up a little bit if I can. Okay, let's... I'm finding it's just a little too much gain. Let's go with the master crank to 10, so we'll pull that back. I'm kind of happy with that, yeah, let's leave that. Okay, I want to, maybe on that one, let's just put some delay in. There's my typical delay setting. let's see how the levels are balanced. Okay, so distortion is losing a bit. Let's bump that. It might be too much. Okay, so there we have it. Let's see what we got. So here's our clean. Into a broken up push channel. Sorry about the tuning. Not sure it'll be a little bit better. Here's a push channel. Overdrive. And then distort with some delay. I'm liking that. So that's sounding okay. Again, this is a starting point for you guys. Different guitar, different monitoring systems, all going to affect this. But it gives us an idea of some of the things that we can do. This one I kind of delve into a lot more with snapshots, right? So the output block, bouncing around, trying to level the patch. Changing the microphone from a 160 ribbon to a 121, which we actually did change on the lead. Let's try that, actually. I didn't realize that didn't change. Darkens it up a bit. Again, personal preference. Maybe with that, that's why I was reaching more for more of the bottom on this. Let's roll that back a bit just on that one. Sorry for the nonsensical gibberish playing. I'm liking that a little bit better. Let's just sort of see how those bounce through now. Yeah, I think I'm happy with that. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm going to throw this up on Custom Tone for anybody who wants to grab it. I hope you enjoy. You can make some little tweaks to it. I think by seeing how I go through and dial these things in, you can, as I go, you can see what each move I make, the effect that it has. So if you hear something playing through your guitar, your monitoring system, that doesn't sound quite right for you, it's probably easier to pinpoint what you can do to change that and dial it in a little closer to what you would want. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed that. Try this out. The German Mahadeva is a really killer amp model. I think very versatile. You get a lot of really interesting sounds out of it. I know I do a lot of ribbon mic stuff. You could even swap these out for condensers or dynamic mic models. In that case, you'd probably want to go and watch that split crossover with your high end and maybe tame that down a bit. But anyways, thanks so much for watching, guys. Thanks for tuning in as always. Please like the video, share it, subscribe if you haven't already. I'll have quite a few more of these coming up in the near future, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for tuning in. Ciao for now.